एक बहुत त्रासदी हुई थी घर में, और उसकी वजह से फिर माँ बीमार थी. सो यू नो देयर वर मेनी अदर इश्यूज बिकॉज ऑफ विच आई कुड नॉट टेक अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क. पिछले साल इसी वक्त 17 जून को आई लॉस्ट माई मदर, और उसके बाद लगा कि ज़िंदगी में अब आगे कुछ होगा नहीं, और मैं बहुत मायूसी से भर गया था. आई वॉज कम्प्लीटली डेवस्टेटेड. लेकिन कहीं माँ की आवाज़ आई कि यू नो माई जर्नी इज़ फिनिश्ड, योर जर्नी कंटिन्यूज. तो आप जाइए और लोगों की ज़िंदगी में कम से कम खुशियाँ बिखेरी, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम हियर.
Shekhar, my question is to you again. Sorry
Yes.
to hear about your loss. So you are the face of the show since the beginning.
जी.
Does it come with a responsibility, and especially with the time that we are living in now?
Yes, we are living in a very angry society, I think. There is rage and outrage everywhere, and we need to just chill. We need to relax. We need to sort of shake hands, be with each other, just chill out and have a smile. I think that's very important. And as you said, this show comes with a huge responsibility. Responsibility because, you know, as performers, as entertainers, as actors, we are all socially responsible for what we do and what we say and how we do it. So it's very important that you have to be a part of the show that is progressive, that is evolving. So in that sense of the term, when I look back and I see when Pankaj and Deepak approached me, I just wanted to know a little more about the contestants, and I was absolutely elated to know that they're from different walks of life, and their whole philosophy towards humor has changed. The sense of humor, which was a bit debilitating, which was a bit pedestrian, has now evolved into something very refined, and that humor doesn't necessarily mean a man becoming a woman or a transgender or indulging in profanities or obscenities. I think humor can be clean, and that's what we are emphasizing on. Very clean, healthy humor. I think television, you know, family viewing stopped long back with the advent of OTT people. It was a sort of a new poison that people got addicted to. And, you know, the expletives, the, you know, over the edge, over the top scenes, all of that was very exciting in the beginning, but I think people are coming back to their roots. People want to be part of the family, especially after the pandemic. They just enjoy just holding hands and being together, enjoying a program together. And this is one such show, I guarantee you, that's going to bring the families back together.
Thank you. Archana ji, next is to you.
Yeah, sure.
With your name added to the show, any show for that matter, the show is already elevated with its approach. How do you feel, or how do you select that you want to be a part of the show, since you bring in that sort of material and the quality to the show?
There are very few comedy shows in India, sadly so. इतनी बड़ी आबादी में, और हरियाणा के लोग, इधर के लोग अलग अलग ह्यूमर वाले, you know, अलग फ्लेवर वाले, लेकिन शो वही एक हिंदी प्लेटफॉर्म, एक, you know, so many channels only. So it is very sad that we have such few shows. So the choice is very limited for somebody like me. Then this is a no-brainer, because इनके साथ, बानी जी के साथ, दीपक के साथ, ऋषि के साथ, I've been doing Kapil Sharma show for 3 years. जब ऐसी कंपनी आपको अप्रोच करती है, तो आपको एक्चुअली तो कॉन्सेप्ट सुनने की जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ती. You know, so this is a show which one of the added reasons that I did the show was Bani Ji and Deepak and Rishi, who I'm very close to. 3 साल हमारी टीम ने जो बैकस्टेज भी जितना हंसा है, और you know, and you can see that on that stage also,
right,
in the Kapil Sharma. No show can be that great and that much fun unless the team is having fun. So this is the same team which brought me, you know, this offer, and the concept of the show is Sone pe Suhaga mere liye. So when I choose a show, like I said, the choice is very limited, but this was a no-brainer. I had to say yes, because stand-up comedy मैंने बहुत साल से, मतलब बहुत कम देखने को मिल रही है, normal, you know, apart from OTT. So this is a show जहाँ पर आपको stand-up comedy के साथ-साथ थोड़े-थोड़े elements of skit comedy भी, sketch comedy भी देखने को मिलेंगे. This is a flavor I didn't want to miss. I wanted the ringside seat, and I said I'm going to watch and get paid to laugh at.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
डाउन आते हैं, कभी हम मायूस होते हैं, कभी मानसिक हमारा जो स्टेबल है उतना ठीक नहीं होता. उस वक्त ऐसे रियलिटी शो का हिस्सा बनना जिसमें आपको हंसना हो, कितना डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है कई बार.
What a lovely question you asked. हैव टू से दैट किसी और प्रेस वाले ने कभी पूछा नहीं है, बट आई हैव टू टेल यू दैट कॉमेडी सर्कस 7-8 साल जज किया था, फिर कपिल शर्मा शो 3 साल, अब ये तो 10-12 साल हो गए हैं दैट आई हैव बीन सिटिंग ऑन सम चेयर और द अदर, थैंक यू गॉड। बट ये कहना ज़रूरी है कि उन 10 सालों में किसी को लगता है कि वो 6 घंटे 8 घंटे हर एपिसोड में जो हंसना पड़ता है, क्या मेरी लाइफ में कुछ ऐसा ऊपर नीचे नहीं आया होगा? I have to confess that there was a time when I walked, not once but a few times, that I walked onto the set of such a show and I thought आज तो मैं smile भी नहीं कर पाऊंगी, and I have sat on the chair. It's a job of a professional कि अगर आपको एक job दी गई है तो you have to do it. Also it has happened that I have lost my mother-in-law on the sets of Comedy Circus. तो ऐसा हुआ है कि अंदर से आप बहुत बहुत दुखी हैं, लेकिन a job is a job and the famous line says the show must go on. So we have cried inside and yet we have laughed because we have to entertain, and that's just part of the job. But it's a nice question that you asked because it's really very something very very true and very painful for every performer, and not just me. There are many such performers who have to go through this.
शेखर, आप कुछ ऐड करेंगे क्योंकि आपके साथ भी आपने भी काफ़ी सालों तक
I actually, when I was working in Dekh Bhai Dekh, that's the time I found out that my elder son was terminally ill. और मेरे लिए as an actor to go out and just be a part of a comic show was very very difficult because every time the phone rang, I thought there was an emergency. So you could imagine what I was going through. But I guess that as performers, you cannot bring your miseries and your grief to the set. वो आपका निजी मामला है और उसे आपको ज़ब्त करना होगा. And I lost my son while filming for Dekh Bhai Dekh. It was very very extremely difficult for me. तो लोग शायद वो मुस्कान देखते हैं, वो हंसी देखते हैं, उसके पीछे का दुख नहीं देखते, और शायद देखते हैं तो समझते नहीं. और मैं समझ सकता हूँ क्योंकि लोगों की ज़िंदगियों में आगे ही इतनी तकलीफ़ें हैं कि वो शायद दूसरों का दुख बांटना नहीं चाहते, पर समझते हैं लोग. तो ये आसान काम नहीं है. ये मैं इसको एक काम की तरह लेता हूँ, मैं इसको एक चैरिटी की तरह लेता हूँ. अगर आपके पास पैसा बहुत है तो आप लोगों को बांटते हैं, आप लोगों को खुशियाँ बांटते हैं. तो उसी तरह से मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं इधर उधर हर जगह से थोड़ी खुशियाँ बटोर सकूँ ताकि लोगों को मैं वो बांट सकूँ, उनके साथ शेयर कर सकूँ. Yes, but it's been a difficult part, but as a professional, we have to just go on.
I'd like to add to that. First of all, I'm so sorry for what you've been through, but I think आप लोगों ने जो जिस तरीके से handle किया during COVID, I have to say that for me, you guys were like frontline workers. We were at least sitting at home and doing whatever we could shoot at home, or we were coming on set where everything was careful and safe. But you guys were out there for the last 2.5 years, putting your lives at risk to bring us the news. So hats off to you guys, and I think you guys have done it better than us.
Hi, Deepak, Sana from Indian Express here. The genre of comedy has changed over the years. If you have to point out what was the biggest challenges that you had to face while putting up a show like this?
Well, one had to just go back to basics. One had to just go back to classic, formats for us. There's no point in overcomplicating it because that's always a recipe for disaster. I've learned those mistakes over time. So just kept it very, very clean, simple. You've got a very small taste of what's coming up over the weekend, over the next many weekends. I can tell you it's extremely clean, it's very simple, it's not complicated. You just have to it's very simple, just tune in and just unwind. That's the show, it's very, very clean. And for me, my job was very clear. This show started as a thought of what are we going to do when Kapil decides to go on a world tour. So it was just a discussion between Danish and myself and the Sony programming team, and this is where it all started. My first call was to my brother, friend, guide, and I immediately called Pankaj. He is very difficult to convince, very difficult to get started.
But it's very difficult to convince, but once he's convinced, it's very difficult to stop.
Absolutely, that's what was on my line. So really somebody without whom this show could not have been made. there is no doubting that. I mean, the pillar of strength of this show, the guiding force is him. My relationship with him starts as back as when we started our careers in Channel V, so I know him literally from those days. So there is no other call I made. I made the first call to him, and immediately together we called Shekhar, Archana, and the rest of the team to just put up a great, simple, clean show. And I can proudly say that we've just stuck to simple, basic rules. That's where we are.
It's like a massage chair. Once you have switched on the button, you don't have to do anything. The chair does the rest.
Deepak, would you consider Archana also to be one of the loyalists to you? Because after this, I believe she is going to join for Kapil Sharma's next show.
Well, she has said enough, and it puts added pressure. Every time I've reached out to Archana, it has to be for something which is a great show and a compelling show. And I'm very happy she considers, our company, our friendship, so important that she immediately, signs up for it. And I must say the same thing for Shekhar. I called him many years back, both Pankaj and I, for another show. And many years later, we are now standing all together, making another show of laughter. So, it puts a great sense of responsibility on me personally when we are taking out a show or a franchise or an IP out to somebody. It needs to be a memorable experience for this entire team. And I must say, we have just started. It's already very memorable.
Absolutely.
We're getting a great feeling about what's really coming up. And I must really thank all of you. I must thank the Sony team who have really let us alone with the show,
Yes, left us
and
alone.
trusted us completely, and I have a great equation with them. I must thank the rest of the team behind this. There's a big army behind this. I can't name everybody here, but
Toop to laga ke rakhe hue hain. There's an army behind that.
yeah, so each one has been very, very integral to bring us to this stage, and I'm sure it's just. I'm getting a feeling we're just starting off. So,
I have to add one thing here, that to make a comedy show, it is very important that the creative team is left to do what they know best. For that, you need a channel that supports that creative team, which has faith in that creative team. And I think Sony has always stood for that.
Absolutely.
They have always given us great comedy shows, as is evident from Comedy Circus and Kapil Sharma show and this one, which is going to prove that, this is really again history in the making. So Sony really does support the creative team. It has always given us the freedom to do what we could do our best, And so thank you, Sony, for a lot for that.
As they say, the show must go on, so must the laughter. And Sony strongly believes that the laughter must go on. And between Deepak and Pankaj, and between Deepak and me, he just told me very categorically, this show is going nowhere. It's going to be there for the next 5 years. But either way, Archana is going to be with us. Can I reverse the position? Can I ask one question to the press, please? If you allow me. If I can have the latitude to do that. Can I? May I? Yes? Can I ask the question? ये आप लोग हर रोज जाते हैं नए शोज में, बैठते हैं, इसी तरह से देखते हैं, झेलते हैं जो भी, और फिर उनसे वही सवाल करते हैं. आप लोगों के लिए कहीं ऐसा होता है कि बहुत हो गया यार, हर शो में जाके बैठना, सवाल पूछना, वही सवाल, इसमें नया क्या है, यहाँ आप क्यों आए, इसका हिस्सा क्यों बने? It's just become like a very mechanical thing for you people, और कहीं ना कहीं आप लोग जज्बाती तौर से जोड़ते भी हैं. मतलब एक इंसान जिसको खाना बहुत पसंद है, लेकिन उसको इतना खाना देंगे और दिन में 10 बार देंगे तो वो तो कहेगा कि अब मुझे नहीं चाहिए, बैठ जाएगा, खाएगा नहीं. तो आप लोग सिर्फ बैठते हैं, खाते हैं, या ऐसे ही कि जैसा मैंने शुरू में कहा, ओफो एक और नया शो? Is it like that? Do you feel bored doing the same thing? Is it become a perfunctory job? हाँ, आप कोई जवाब देंगे?
लिपिका जी को ये जवाब देना चाहिए. She is the senior host here. We are for 35 years doing the same thing every day.
हाँ, so every day 35 years.
35 years.
35 साल से आप कर रहे हैं. आप बताइए कि आप लोगों के लिए ये सिर्फ एक ये हो गया है, बुलाया है तो जाना है और बैठना है.
A round of applause. 35 years. Wow.
आप जवाब देंगे. इसका जवाब मुझे इसलिए चाहिए क्योंकि जब परफॉर्मेंसेस हो रहे हैं, आप लोग थोड़े मुझे मायूस दिखे। मायूस नहीं, मतलब ये कि आप आए हैं, बैठे हैं, आप लोग इतने पार्टिसिपेटिव नहीं लगे जितना दिखना चाहिए। तो क्या वजह है कि मतलब यू फील दैट द मीडिया हैज अ वेरी सीरियस प्रोफाइल, तो हम लोग हंसना नहीं चाहिए, हंसने से हमारी संजीदगी कम हो जाएगी? या ठीक है, ऐसे शोज आते रहते हैं, जाते रहते हैं, हमें मतलब आप लोग स्तंभ हैं, चौथे स्तंभ है डेमोक्रेसी की, बट दैट्स जस्ट एन एक्सप्रेशन। आप लोग ह्यूमन बीइंग से जो ताली बजा सकते हैं, तो वो तालियों की कमी या वो पार्टिसिपेशन क्यों कम नजर आता है? Are you bored? Are you guys bored?
No. The second question, the answer is our boss is constantly asking when are you coming back to release the page. So that's the reason.
हाँ, तो मीट द पेज में कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग इग्नोर हो जाते हैं, जो हम इतने शिद्दत के साथ कर रहे हैं। योर माइंड इज ऑन योर बॉस एंड बॉस इज कम्प्लीटली ओवरवेल्ड बाय यू और योर वर्क। तो ये आप लोगों का आदान प्रदान चलता रहता है, तो हम यूं ही परफॉर्म करते हैं।
नहीं, हम लोग बकायदा हम लोग ने पार्टिसिपेट किया। इफ यू हैव सीन, तालियां भी बजाई हैं और हंसे भी हैं। और शेखर जी, आपको मैंने फेमस स्टूडियोज से जानती हूँ, जब वहाँ ऑफिस था।
When I was not so famous.
No, you were famous. आपकी वो फिल्म थी।
Thank you.
I don't remember, Jungle Queen or something.
Jungle Queen? That was her. Mine was Utsav, which I started.
Connected to jungle or something, and I was talking to you.
I've been lost a couple of times in my life, but not in a jungle.
And I'm Lipika Verma. I've met you. I've spoken to you.
I'm sure, of course, yes.
Yeah.
पर ये सवाल बहुत दिनों से मैंने
Your son was in my school, Utpal son.
Utpal son, yes. जी।
Okay. Now coming to this, आपने क्या पूछा था कि हम लोग?
That's a very good question.
This is a very interesting. You know, I'm passionate about the job, and I'm not doing for money. Yes, money comes to me, and coming and sitting and doing this. We enjoy it. And सवाल का जहाँ सवाल पूछने की बात आई है, तो आप लोग अगर हमें और मतलब आपका शो है, तो शो से कनेक्टेड सवाल पूछने पड़ते हैं। तो जब आपसे करेंगे,
मेरा सवाल का ये है कि कहीं न कहीं एक ही चीज हर दिन 4 बार करते, कहीं बोरियत महसूस होती है? कहीं नहीं, वो उत्साह रहता है, वो पैशन रहता है आपको?
Yes, we are passionate about the job. Everybody, I think, even the
Is everybody very passionate about
yes,
this? आप लोग हाँ
even the younger
एक बार तालियां बजा दीजिए जोरदार, क्योंकि आप लोग की तालियों की आवाज नहीं सुनाई देती है। हर वक्त निवेदन करना पड़ता है, गुजारिश, मुस्कुराइए। और अब तो कब वक्त ये मास्क आ गया, पता ही नहीं चलता पीछे एक्सप्रेशंस क्या है।
Hats off to the younger generation.
जी।
I must tell you that I imbibe their energies. You know,
जी।
they are so energetic. All the young.
बस they are very energetic. एक ही गुजारिश है, show it.
I would like to add to that. In fact, so many of you, I recognize your faces. I remember there were days when I have flown out in the night, late at night. I've reached elsewhere. I finished my event and I've flown back in and I've come on set and I felt so exhausted that I did so much. But you guys have been there every step of the way before me to capture me doing what I'm doing. So I think you guys give it your heart and soul, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. Any other questions?
Yeah. This one's for Pankaj ji.
Yes.
So, you know, bringing back a legacy that we've already seen once, and now that it's going to have a different flavor, how exciting is it for you, and what goes behind, as you know, every viewer would love to know?
See, coming back to this franchise after so many years, what I saw was that the standard of humor, the style of humor, a lot of things have changed. So that was really exciting.